And let's go ahead and just move on to this first topic right here. And that is some box office news, because we just got a Space Jam, a new legacy, opening in theaters worldwide this past weekend. And I have this report right here.
Best movie
coming
of the
from,
year.
I'm sorry?
Best movie of the year.
No, Larry, no. But this is from Deadline. And again, guys, if you're watching this in the live or on the replay, there's a link to this article down in the description box, and you can read at your own leisure. But this is from Deadline. Space Jam: A New Legacy steals ball away from the Black Widow with $31 million opening, best for family pick in Warner Brothers during the pandemic. And this is from Anthony De Alessandro. And it goes on to read, this is a Sunday AM update, so it was updated today. Even with Space Jam: A New Legacy and Homes on HBO Max, Warner Brothers proves again that when they shell out TV spots, they can open a film and movie theaters to a solid number. In this case, it was the best 3 day we've seen for a family film during the pandemic, with 31.65 million. That's also the best for Warner Brothers during the COVID-19 era, beating Godzilla vs. Kong big Easter opening of 31.6 million by a smidge, and also a record career opening for director Malcolm D. Lee, beating the opening weekend of his Girls Trip by 31.2 million. And so I'm gonna come to you first, Elliot, but I have this quote right here. It says, it's the family movie of the summer, and it's exciting to see audiences come back in big numbers, said Warner Brothers domestic theatrical distribution chief Jeff Goldstein, who praised big marketing push by the studio for a Looney Tunes NBA sequel, which included everything from bus raps, loud social media drummings from star and producer LeBron James, and the Pix mobile game Looney Tunes World of Mayhem, which has a week's themes devoted to the sequel. So, Elliot, like I said, I'm coming to you, man. What do you make about these numbers? Do you think it's a big deal? Not a big deal, especially because we're in the pandemic. Also, it's knocking Black Widow off of the #1 spot, and Marvel movies tend to hang on to that for a couple of weekends. And also give you 2 cents of how you felt about the movie, because I don't even know if you've seen it or not. But I'm coming to you, man. How you feeling about all this? You're muted, sir.
Can you hear me? Mic check. I guess we got to say LeBron James. I mean, this is pretty impressive. The reason I think, and by the way, I haven't seen the film. I might check it out later. Yeah, it just, I don't know, man. The trailer, and I'm not a LeBron James hater. I actually respect him a lot, but I don't know. I didn't fit into my schedule this weekend, but I'll watch it maybe next week. Listen, man, this is huge because unlike Disney Plus and Black Widow, which was $30, and we talked about the box office, last week, but this is pretty impressive because HBO Max, it's free on HBO Max. Now, of course, it's a $15 charge a month, but still, I mean, the whole conversation about Disney Plus and having this platform for kids to watch it with big families, but knowing that this isn't a $30 charge and still made this money and it beat Black Widow is pretty impressive. And again, I know people love the Looney Tunes, but I think this is more so to speak to the power of LeBron James. I think people really want to come out and show him some love and support. Obviously, as people are mentioning in the chat, it's summertime, it's family fun. People are, going out to the films and all that. But yeah, man, now this is very, very impressive. Now, again, I haven't seen the film. I have spoken to some of my friends, really close friend of mine I saw yesterday and said it was trash. Now, I don't allow their opinions to affect mine if I want to see it or not, but I've heard that the film is it's a film. I heard it's an advertisement of HBO. It's a bunch of stuff being thrown out and this, that, and the third. But I don't know, man. Minus my thoughts on the film, which I haven't seen, I'm pretty impressed by these numbers because, again, knowing the fact that it's available to stream on HBO Max and it still managed to be #1 speaks a lot to people being excited for it and checking out Mr. LeBron James. So
yes, sir.
Yeah,
there he is right there. And Larry, before I come to you, I just want to say real quick. Well, first, I did see the film. When I
watched the review too, Brandon, and that's what I was like,
yeah, I mean, it was okay, but then when I thought about it more, I just disliked it more. I like LeBron James. I'm not a hater. I think he did fairly well in the film. I was just really disappointed about Don Cheadle's performance and the long, dreadful journey it took to get to the basketball game. Once it got to that point, it did pick up a little bit. And also, I want to let you guys know, it is okay if you disagree with me on a movie. If I think it sucks and you like it, that's fine. If I like it and you think it sucks, that's fine too. I'm just saying that just because some of the comments I got, even my brother called me and he was just like, "Hey man, I gotta let you know, bro. I disagree with you, man. I kind of liked it, man. It was fun, you know." And he was like talking to me like he was afraid to say that, and I'm just like, "Bro, it's cool, man. If you know,
hey man, it's
we have a
2021. People
opinion,
get canceled out here, Brandon. You know,
bro,
you
yeah,
get canceled if you don't like things.
And I respect him for doing that because he actually corrected me. I was wrong in my review, and I'll admit it because I don't have time to watch sports right now. I wish I did. I just can't fit it into my schedule. I mean, I can catch a game here and there, but it won't have any significance because I won't be able to follow a team or season. You know what I'm saying? I do love sports though. But in the review, I said that I don't watch sports. I don't have time. And so in my review, I was like, you know, well, one, I was wrong because in the sequel, they're called the Goon Squad, but in the original, they're called the evil team was called Monsters. I called them the Goon Squad in both of them, and people kind of called me out. But I said that the Goon Squad in the second film with LeBron, there was no personality to their characters. They were just kind of empty beings. He was like, actually, Brendan, you're wrong because if you watch the NBA, you will see that every NBA player that was in the sequel, you know, was a exact carbon copy of their real life selves in the NBA, and you wouldn't know that if you don't watch it. And so I had to take that L or whatever, and you know, he corrected me on that. So I just go to say it's okay if we disagree, with all of that. And so I know Larry did see the film, and I'm coming to him. And while I want to add this comment in, also in this article that's linked in the description, it says that iSpot shows that Warner Brothers spent $15.2 million in TV spots on the Looney Tunes live action animation hybrid movie since April of this year, yielding nearly 1 billion impressions. That's just kind of how many times I guess the advertisement pops up. So that's 15.2 million there in marketing on TV spots. And if we see here, I see it too.
Look at that.
The Space Jam right here is a $150 million budget. But let me go ahead and grab that real quick, Larry, if you don't mind, before I come to you, sir.
I like it.
From Harvey Avery, my dad, $49.99. Happy early birthday, Brandon Avery. Enjoy lunch on me, sir. Thank you so much, Pops. I do appreciate it, man.
What Avery coming through.
Thank you so much for the early birthday gift, sir. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. I love you very. Oh, and his birthday is tomorrow too. So
is it really?
Happy birthday.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of cancers in the house, man. My birthday was just on the 12th. I like it.
Yes. I was his 30th birthday present. So
oh man.
I hope you enjoyed this present.
The gift that keeps on taking.
right. But Larry, man, coming to you, man. How you feeling about this opening and knocking Black Widow off? How you felt about the film? And also this $15 million spent on marketing just for TV spots, because we normally don't get that type of information released to the general public. They never really release that information. So how you feeling about all this, Larry?
I think I'll be honest with you. When I first started watching Space Jam, the first part of the movie I thought was kind of stupid, and then I felt like it got better as it went on.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, this is sort of like the end game of Looney Tunes. They brought in everybody. You know, they brought everybody in this whole piece. They brought not just Looney Tunes, they brought Warner Brothers, they brought everybody from every property that they have in there. And it was corny, and it was everything that, you know, critics probably hate. And I saw this great meme put out by The Onion that said, 6-year-old decides not to go see Space Jam after reading New York Times movie critics' terrible review or something, like scathing review or something that effect. And I thought that just summed it up right there. No kid cares what movie critics say. They don't care if it's the New York Times or Yahoo or you on YouTube. They're gonna go see Space Jam for what it is. A lot of kid fun. This movie was not made, marketed, or anything else for us. This movie is probably for like the 13 and younger crowd. And, you know, for the parents, maybe they get a couple chuckles out of it. You know, there are some movies that are made for kids and adults at the same time, and they do well with that. Like Shrek is one of those movies where you have all the animation and the kids stuff that's in there, but you also have very sort of racy jokes that the kids aren't going to get that the parents will laugh at. You know, this movie was not that. This movie was strictly for the children's. you know? And so I thought it did well for what it is. I will say that this is another example, though, of why I think that Warner Brothers looked at their roster for this year and said, let's just go ahead and put it all out on HBO Max, because they knew that none of these movies, I think, were going to be big theatrical, hits. Like the only one of these movies that they've released early that I think was a good movie, like a truly good movie that I would have liked to have seen, was Judas and the Black Messiah. Everything else they put out has just sort of been like, And this is one of those movies too, where I think if there were not the pandemic, I think it would have done well in theaters, and it would have gotten flamed just the same. People would have been like, "This movie's terrible. I'm not going to see it." Mm-hmm. Like people who had kids would have gone to see it, but like people who were just like me, I saw the first Space Jam. If I thought this was going to be a good movie, if it was like if the pandemic was not here, I thought this was going to be a good movie, I might have taken my niece to go see it. I would have been like, yo, let's watch the first Space Jam and then go watch the second Space Jam. But I didn't even bother to have her come over to watch this Space Jam because I was like, yeah, it's probably not that good. Everybody said it was terrible. When I watched it, I was like, yeah, it's okay, But that's it. It's just okay.
Right on. And let me go ahead and do that for you. Mary Sharice. What is it? I just made one today. Here we go.
Oh, did you just make your Cash App?
A business one. Yeah. So actually it is in this right here. Actually, I'm gonna have to, that's gonna take too long to scroll over. But it's all it is money sign. It's the same as my Instagram handle, but with the money thing.
Money sign.
Yeah, the money sign at the very
where the money resides.
Yeah, exactly. Where the money resides. So,
but I do say that I think that what's interesting about this though is that they talk about how it bumped, and they're sort of making these comparisons, how it bumped out Black Widow off of the #1 spot. I don't think it bumped Black Widow off the #1 spot. I think Black Widow bumped itself off the #1 spot. They said that movie had a 67% drop from week 1 to week 2. I think whatever movie was coming out was gonna bump Black Widow out of that #1 spot, because Black Widow just had the largest drop, the largest opening weekend drop in history. There was nothing that was gonna keep that movie in the #1 spot.
Agree, 100%. I was gonna address that, but you took the words right out of my mouth, brother. So, thank you for that. Thank you for that. But yeah, and so Space Jam, they winning right now. With this box office. So, big ups to them. LeBron was commenting on Facebook like, "Hey haters," and he was showing the receipts and stuff. He was actually one of the better parts of the film to me. And I'm glad the man is winning, and so good for him. Good for him.
One thing I have to say about this movie that I thought was I thought some of the stuff they did, they could have fixed it, and they just didn't. And that was some of it. I think the characters that they should have focused on, they just didn't. They spent so much time trying to do these cameos and show all the other properties from Warner Brothers and everything else, and HBO. They just spent so much time trying to show all these other characters and all these cameos. They didn't focus on the main characters enough, and I really would have liked to seen more of Lola. She's fantastic in this, and I think if she should have had probably an extra 10 minutes of screen time, and they just didn't give her enough at all. I think Bugs Bunny's character was fantastic, but he is what he is. We love Bugs. He's always been sort of what he is, but they just they should have focused more on the core team instead of so much on the cameos.
Right. And I have a question for Brandon and Larry and everyone in the chat, and it's not a basketball competition or legacy competition, but I'm just curious, acting wise, MJ or LeBron James?
LeBron James. Actor? Well, LeBron James, easy.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you. I'd have to go back and watch the first Space Jam again, because I felt, and it's probably just because of my age. When I saw the first Space Jam, I was much more feeling. I guess I was much more connected with the first Space Jam than this Space Jam. And it wasn't like I was young when I watched the first Space Jam, but I mean, I was, Michael Jordan was huge. It was the first time they've ever done a movie like this. So, I'll be honest with you, really what I would like to see is a behind the scenes documentary of this, because they talked about how they built him a full court on the lot for LeBron when they were making this movie. And they talked about how all these all these ball players would come over to the lot, and they would have like these incredible pickup games with the best NBA players, and they were just out there balling like crazy. And they said people would just go over there and watch. And I would love to see a behind the scenes documentary about that, because that seems to me like it would probably be more interesting than this movie was.
Right on. And let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. And I just want to say, oh, okay, that's your name. Okay, Mara Sharice, thank you so much for the Cash App, $25. Thank you. And also Zia Latrice, thank you for the Cash App too, for the birthday Cash App. Thank you, guys.
Zia Latrice.
I really do appreciate it. Y'all are freaking wonderful.